Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deetra and many of you know me as the Teaching Wife. I'm so glad you're here. Today's going to be a little different. We are going to do a question and answer. These questions are coming from my Instagram community and some of them were from direct messages. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy.
So let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Tell your audience, who is the teaching wife?
I am she and she is me, and together we help busy moms who are struggling to find time for self-care and improving their family lifestyle.
So where did that name come from?
So the name of Teaching Wife actually came from the season which is currently what I'm doing, but when I first started homeschooling, I wanted to make sure that even though I was mom and teacher, that I prioritized time for myself and for my husband and my role as a wife. And so that's where the Teaching Wife kind of developed from.
All right, so you kind of already got into it when we asked who is the teaching wife, but can you share a little bit more information about who exactly your audience and who you're speaking to?
Yeah, so my audience is parents. Parents, but in particularly moms, who really just need help, like I said, with self-care and prioritizing the needs of their family and just trying to help them with tips and tools to really support them in their journey as parents and as moms.
So tell me a little bit more about your experience. Like, what drew you to the field of marriage and family therapy?
Well, actually, I was not drawn to the field of marriage and family therapy only because as I was growing up, my mother went back to school to get her degree in counseling and to get a license in marriage and family therapy. And I remember her telling me, like, if you want to make money, do not become a counselor. Like, she was like, do not do it. And so originally, I didn't want anything to do with it. I wanted to find something that I could do that still utilized my heart and passion for people and helping others and encouraging others, but not counseling. So I ran far away from that as possible. I actually started out as a biology major. Then I was a math major. I'm not even sure why, because I don't even like math. But then I was a psychology pre-med major because I wanted to be a sports medicine doctor, and I was like wanting to do kinesiology. And then finally I was like, you know what, let me just do this psychology thing anyway, even though I know my mom said I wouldn't make any money and my student loan debt was going to be really high. I had to do what I was naturally skilled at, but then also what I found interest in, because I really enjoyed all of my psychology classes. So I don't even think there was one that I didn't really enjoy. So that is how that had it happen.
Okay, so share with your audience a little bit more about your working experience. Like, where have you worked in your years after college?
Okay, so again, this was something that I didn't want to do, but I did a lot of work with children and adolescents, and that was even before going into college. Like, I started out in high school tutoring and babysitting, actually middle school, and so I always worked with adolescents and everything. When I got into my undergraduate and I had to do an internship, again, I was working with children and families, and so that kind of just carried with me. But it wasn't until I graduated from graduate school, and actually got hired as a family teacher, which is like a house parent, to work for a nonprofit agency named Boys Town. And Boys Town was where I really developed the skill set and experience needed to further support parents and help the way that I desire to help now.
Okay, so you actually got to parent teenagers before having your own children.
Exactly. So living and working in the group home, which is where my husband and we were family teachers. And so a lot of people, of course, when you start out parenting, you start out with babies, but we started out with not only with adolescents and teenagers, but also those adolescents and teenagers were exposed to a lot of trauma. They experienced a lot of trauma in their life, and so it was challenging. It was challenging being newlyweds with teenage boys, and who had a ton of behaviors due to the trauma that they had experienced in their life. And so that was a whole nother, that probably would take another video to talk about that experience. But that is where I started, and got real life, on the job parenting coaching that we received ourselves. And then also, as I transitioned out of that job and into other departments of our agency, I also learned live parenting coaching just from working in home with families and going into their houses and coaching them through some tough behaviors and situations as well.
All right. So would you say that you learned that you used some of the things that you learned there at that time with our own children?
Oh, most definitely. It really helped me with the way that we do things and some of the things that we don't do with our own children. It helped to lay a stronger foundation, I believe. And so it was a blessing in disguise. It was hard and challenging at that time, but now I can see kind of how God fit those pieces of my puzzle together.
All right. So tell us a little bit more about your private practice.
So this is normal life, right? This is what's happening right now because we are retaping, as I mentioned, we are retaping what I previously recorded. So hold on one second. Go ahead. Look, Sarai, look at me. Say, what do you say? Say okay. Of course not. Look at me. Eyes. Say, okay. Now go back to your room, please. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so private practice. So yes, on top of coaching, so I do parenting coaching, skills training with children and adolescents, but I also have a private practice in which I see clients virtually in both California and Texas because I am licensed in both California and Texas. And so I will say I'm blessed to be able to meet clients' needs in both places. And so I do that virtually through a HIPAA compliant platform called Simple Practice. And it actually has been very beneficial to be able to meet clients where they're at in their homes, in their cars, and I feel like they've been just so comfortable with sharing and experiencing the therapeutic process because they're in their own safe place. And so it's been pretty, it's been a good experience so far. I enjoy what I do. It's very rewarding, it's challenging at times, but I really enjoy it.
So what would you say your specialty is with your private practice? What's your niche?
So my specialty is children, adolescents, and families, but of course I work with individuals. I do a lot of work with parents, of course, but I do see individuals as well. So children, adolescents, and families, right? Because that's my whole thing. But then I also work with individuals because they're a part of a family system. And so family dynamics comes up whether it's in an individual session or it's in a family session or child adolescent. So I serve everyone.
So are children good for telehealth services?
Most definitely. Children, I would say they don't necessarily sit still, but one of the things I didn't mention that I do is I teach ESL, English as a second language, to children in China. And so I've kind of grown used to working with children in this medium of using virtual lessons. And so me being able to work with children, even though they're not sitting still in front of the camera and they may be moving around and wiggling all over the place, off the camera, under covers, whatever it is, but I'm able to see how they react and respond and how they behave in their natural setting. And so I really think that it enhances the therapeutic process.
All right, nice. Just to wrap things up, can you tell me some future plans for the Teaching Wife platform?
Yeah, so as far as the Teaching Wife goes, I just desire to continue to grow and expand the resources that that I'm making available to parents. So expanding my resource corner right now, there's some printables there for families, but I also want to add some videos and also continue to add some blogs to my site, just to continue to give parents a source of encouragement and support in their journey. I also want to continue to write for other platforms, to expand my reach and just to share and help parents thrive as they are on this journey of doing the best that they can do. All right, I'll see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.
Mommy, you have a YouTube channel? Mommy's